Good morning. The scripture this morning is taken from Judges 16, 27 through 31. Judges 16, 27 through 31. Now the temple was full of men and women. All the lords of the Philistines were there, about 3,000 men and women on the roof, watching while Sampson performed. Then Sampson called to the Lord, saying, O Lord God, remember me, I pray. Strengthen me, I pray. Just this once, O God, that I may, with one blow, take vengeance on the Philistines from my two eyes. And Sampson took hold of the two middle pillars which supported the temple, and he braced himself against them, one on his right and the other on his left. Then Sampson said, Let me die with the Philistines. And he pushed with all his might, and the temple fell on the lords and all the people who were in it. So the dead that he killed at his death were more than he had killed in his life. And his brothers and all his father's household came down and took him, and brought him up and buried him between Zorah and Eshtaol in the tomb of his father Manoah. He had judged Israel for 20 years.
This is the only ones that want to admit to being young, huh? Well, thank you guys for coming up here. You're going to need help me through all this. You know, I found something on my place. I was with Stephen Harr a few weeks ago, and I found something on my property, and I thought this is going to be a great sermon analogy or visual aid. And I decided, after thinking about it, I would speak next youth message to on Sampson. I've got to admit, after studying and refreshing on the story of Sampson, it was challenging to have a youth lesson out of it. There's a lot of messages for our youth and for each one of us of this, but when it comes right down to it, and I encourage each of you to refresh up in the book of Judges and about chapters 13 through 16 on how God used his servant Sampson, but when it comes right down to it, there's a lot in that lesson or in that telling that is not necessarily for youth. Have we all heard of Sampson though? Yeah? What do we remember about Sampson? He was strong, yeah. He was strong, absolutely. We remember that about Sampson. Indeed, he was strong. We're going to talk about in just a few minutes. But the scripture read was out of the book of Judges this morning. And the book of Judges is where we read about Sampson. Now, the book of Judges is the 7th book of the Old Testament. You guys remember the first 6? Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Joshua, and then Judges, right? Now, you guys probably sing them, don't you? If I tried to sing them, you wouldn't recognize them. But the book of Judges is about a time in Israel that after the great leader of Moses had died, came Joshua, and he was a great leader. But throughout the book of Judges, the Israelites struggled to have a really good leader. And in that book, we read of 15 judges. And those judges during that time were people who, when the Israelites were bad, God would send other people to punish them, normally the Philistines. And each one of those 15 judges were what we might call heroes. Those were people that God sent, those judges, and helped to deliver the Israelites away from the Philistines or whatever other people that God was using to punish them. And then normally, the people would behave for a little while, and then they would forget. Let me ask you something. Are you guys ever like that? Do you ever need any kind of discipline to remind you you need to be good? Yeah. I hear some parents chuckling back there. You know what? I'm kind of like that too. And then after you get in trouble, you say, oh, I'm never, ever, ever, ever going to do that again. I'm going to be good for always, huh? But then sometimes we forget again, don't we? And you know what? The Israelite people were exactly like that. They'd get punished, and then they'd say, oh, they'll be good, and they'd be good for some years, and then they weren't so good. And when Samuel was born, that's exactly what was going on. The people had been punished for 40 years. Now, you've probably been grounded before. Have you ever been grounded 40 years? No? You ever had time? It feels like 40 years sometimes, doesn't it? Yeah, but the people were getting ready to come back. You know, Samson's interesting because in many ways he's like you and I. When we read about Samson, we see that he was a bit mischievous. You ever do anything mischievous? Never? I see some nodding up and down. Your head, young lady's going the wrong direction. Yeah. And you know what? Sometimes as adults, we're mischievous. Your parents are mischievous, believe it or not. And sometimes flat out bad. But what's encouraging to all of us is sometimes when we realize that how ashamed we should be, sometimes we're ashamed of what we do, aren't we? But even when we realize how ashamed we are and how ashamed we ought to be of our actions, it's interesting to me to look at people like Samson and to realize that God was willing to use very flawed individuals to meet his accomplishments or to meet his goals. And Samson was one of those. Now, when I tell you about Samson, I think you might recognize how mischievous he was, and you might be able to relate a little bit. But let me tell you about a few things that he wanted to do. Number one, Samson had a habit of picking out friends that he ought not have. And his parents would tell him, no, that's not the friend you want to have. Has your parents ever told you that yet? Some no, some yeah. Yeah, well, if they haven't told you that yet, they will tell you that that's not the friend that you want to have. That's not the person that you ought to be spending your time with. And as adults, a lot of times we need to be told the same thing. And as adults, oftentimes we do exactly what Samson did and say, oh, I don't want to hear that. That looks good to me. This is what I want to be doing. And that's exactly what Samson did. And that got him in all kind of trouble. For one, when he was going to see one of those friends, a lion came about him. And do you know, with his bare hands, he killed that lion. That's pretty amazing, isn't it? But that wasn't where he really got mischievous. After that, he's having a big party. Now, have you guys ever had a party? Some, yeah. Never any kind of party, not even a birthday party or a party at Thanksgiving. You probably had people over before, right? Being around Ron's always like a party, isn't it? No? Okay. We'll leave that line. We'll talk about that later. We have a party at our place. Now, if someone here recognizes this gift bag, I apologize for commandeering it from Evie. But we have some pretty nice parties. We have good times at parties, don't we? This is how long Samson's party lasted. Can you guess? 10 what? Evie's got 10. 10 days close. That'd be quite the party. 7 days!
7 days.
Yes, how'd you know that? 7 days they had a feast. And now that is a get-together. So he didn't just kill this lion. At this feast, he says, hey, Philistines, I've got a question for you. If you can answer my riddle, I'm going to give you 30 coats and 30 sets of clothing. Now that would be quite a bit, wouldn't it? And he said, but if you can't answer it, then you have to give me that, right? Now he's starting to get a little mischievous. And do you remember the riddle he gave? He said in, is it 14:14? I went right down. In fact, folks, Amanda gave you a break in the bulletin. I asked her to put that riddle in there, and I was going to ask if anyone could solve it. But she gave you the passage and the context with it, so it made it a little bit easier. But here's Samson's riddle. Out of the eater came forth meat, and out of the strong came forth sweetness. Now here's what Samson was getting at. After he killed that lion, he drug it off the road a little bit, by the looks of it, and bees got in there. And inside that lion, bees made honey. And when he came back, he found the honey inside the lion. Yes, but it was sweet honey. Excuse me. So he said, out of the eater's what? The lion, right? Came forth meat or something to eat. Inside the eater was the honey. And out of came forth meat, and out of the strong came forth sweetness. So he gives them this riddle. But guess what? Remember I told you he wasn't real good at getting friends? Now this wasn't just any friend he was with. This was a girlfriend that led to the... We're a little too young for that, most of us, huh? You have no? There's a couple heads shaking. Some of us are too young for boyfriends and girlfriends. Some of us are still too young and just don't realize it. Right? Some of us are right in that area. And let me tell you, there's no one in the world that can get you in trouble like a friend, a good friend, especially, we listening? Especially a boyfriend or a girlfriend. Now let me say this, and we'll get to this in just a little bit. There's also no one else in the world that can help you out any better than a good mate in life, a good companion in life, a boyfriend or girlfriend. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. Oh boy. So he killed this lion, and here's what happened with his friend. We're going to talk about a good friend in a little bit, but you know, his wife told his enemies what his riddle was. Can you believe that? She wasn't a very good friend, was she? Well, here was Samson's problem, and I'll give you a little hint. We'll come back to it later. Samson married the enemy. That was the problem. It wasn't that his girlfriend became his enemy after he married her. He married the enemy. But we'll come back to that. So, you know, that whole situation, that got him into all kind of trouble. He was mischievous. Another time, after he follows up, and again over the same lady, he had trouble, and his actions, he was bad, led to this. You know what he got mad about, and you know what he did to get revenge at these people? He caught 300 foxes. 300. Now, for those of you that are a little bit older, my great-uncle Jim, pioneered electronic calling. And a few years ago, I was reading one of the old game newses, and when he was pioneering electronic calling, game news sent a reporter to hunt with them and was shocked that I believe it was 40-some foxes they got in one night. I thought, that's astonishing. Samson caught 300 foxes, and with no electronic calling, I'm thinking. There's a lot of foxes to catch. Well, you know what he did? He tied those foxes' tails together. Do you think that made them mad? Yes, and then he set them on fire. He put fire between their tails. That's not very nice, but that really made them mad. And then he set them loose in the Philistines' fields, and it burnt their fields right down to the ground. Do you think that was mischievous? Yeah, that was mischievous. But here's my personal favorite. Do you think the Philistines liked Samson? No. They did not like him at all. So one day he goes to the city and he's up to things he ought not be up to. But the Philistines know he's there. And they say, when he wakes up in the morning, you know what we're going to do? They weren't worried about his hair yet. They wanted his head. You know what Samson did? He got up in the middle of the night. He went out there to the gate. I know this don't remind you of me. He tears that gate right up out of the ground. The big iron gate, the post and everything. That doesn't remind you of me, Scott?
I think so.
He takes that gate clear up on top of the hill and sticks it into the ground. And left it there.
Like the Hulk.
Like the Hulk. Yeah, Samson and the Hulk had a lot of things to go on. So Samson had a lot of strength, didn't he? And he helped the Israelites in a lot of ways. But you know what? His being mischievous got him in a lot of trouble and really kept him from doing as much good as he could have. And for you and I, we need to remember the better we can be. God is going to use us to do great things, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But the more mischievous we are, the more time we're going to spend getting ourselves out of that trouble. Who's ever spending time getting out of trouble? Yeah. Mom, I wasn't on purpose, huh? How do you pick up those gates? Yeah. You're strong. Because... Like what? Like strong, like a superhero, huh? He's really strong. And he took that and he hung it up there. So strong that God could have used him to do a lot of good things. But you know what he used most of that strength to do? To get himself out of trouble. And then to cause more trouble. And sometimes we're a little bit like that. I know it's hard to believe, but God is able to use you to accomplish great things. But in order for us to use that strength in the right way, we have to make sure that we aren't spending that strength getting into mischievous problems. Now, companions or friends is something that affects our life. What do you think we ought to look for in a friend? What do you think? Niceness? Niceness? Bad? That's something we want to avoid, huh? Yeah. That's something we want to watch out for. Good point. Yeah. Kind, yeah. Yeah, we want to watch for angriness and avoid angriness. These are things that we want to look for. But you know what it gets right down to? What normally we're looking for in a friend, and then even, you guys ready for this? Some of our older ones are mixed up here. When it comes to boyfriends and girlfriends especially. Someone we can have fun with, right? When Sampson looked at the girlfriend that he wanted, he said to his dad, now guys, don't send your dads out to get your girlfriend for me. Now, take that advice. But Sampson did. He said, get her for me. She looks good to me. Right? He's worried about what might be fun, what might be entertaining, what might be enjoyment. But with friends and boyfriends and girlfriends, and certainly with spouses, which, by the way, sometimes it's uncomfortable to talk about, but that's where boyfriends and girlfriends lead to. It's marriage. That's where that ends up. But we want to find someone who helps us in life. Do your parents help you? Yeah, a lot, huh? Yeah, they help you in all kinds of ways.
Helping you do your homework.
Help you do your homework? You know, Amanda helps me do my homework. Did you know that? You thought you'd be done with homework. But when we get to a point in life when we're married, our spouses help us in life. And the fact of the matter is, life is difficult, isn't it? Sometimes it's homework, sometimes it's the problems we get into, sometimes it's the problems our parents get into, sometimes life is just very difficult. But our friends will make our life even more difficult, or they'll make it better. Do you think you would like a friend that would help you in life, or a friend that would make your life more difficult? Help, right? Think of what Sampson did. His first really close friend told his enemies about the riddle, told them the answer to the riddle. And then after she died, he has another friend, and we know what her name is. What's her name? Sampson and Joseph? Delilah, right? And Delilah tricks him and says all kinds of things. You know what the Philistines really want to know by this time? Is Sampson, where do you get your strength?
His hair.
Yeah, ends up coming from God because he made a deal that he wouldn't cut his hair, right? Or his mother made the deal, actually. You know what the world oftentimes wants from us, wants to know? You know what the devil wants to know about you more than anything else? He'll ask all kinds of questions. But what he wants to know is where your weakness is. He wants to know how I can hurt you. Don't tell friends that aren't good friends neither. And you see, both of Samson's friends said, hey, here's how you do it. Here's the answer to the riddle. Delilah said, and it says that she bugged him to the point of death. Most of you have siblings. Your siblings, your brother or sister ever bother you to the point that you'd like to die? Yeah, some of you. Well, that's what Delilah did to Samson. It says she pestered him and pestered him, and this may sound familiar. Delilah, and folks, this isn't just paraphrasing, this is scriptural. Delilah said, you don't love me because you won't tell me, right? What Delilah tell him? Oh, you tied me up with 7 cords, fresh cords. I could never break those. So you know what Delilah did while he slept? Samson was a deep sleeper. But she tied him up with 7 new cords. And then said, Samson, the Philistines are upon you. He jumped up and he broke those cords right off. She said, oh, you don't love me. You didn't tell me the truth. I don't know if she talked that way. It's just what she said no. So she begged him, tell me. You know what she told him next time? If you tie me with new rope that's never been used, there's no way that I could ever get free of that. Yes, he was lying. You're absolutely. Samson, the Philistines are upon you, and the rope snaps. And she said, oh, you don't love me. So he says, you know, he had 7 locks in his hair. He said, if you took those 7 locks and you webbed them together and you put a pin in them to what seems like the weaver's web, or the weaver next to the bed. They were fastening it to something. It's hard to see what. If you tie my hair to something, boy, he's getting closer to the truth, isn't he? He's getting closer to telling the enemy, telling Satan what it is that can undo him. He says, if you do that, then I couldn't do it. But she says, Samson, the Philistines are upon you. And he jumps up and the pin breaks, and there he is. She says, oh, you don't love me. The truth was, she didn't love him, did she? And she certainly didn't love God. Well, finally, he said, all right, Delilah, you want to know the truth? You want to know what could destroy me? If you could get me to leave God. That's the answer. That's not quite what Samson said correctly. But that's our answer. If you could get me to leave God's word, if you could get me to quit worrying about what God wants and get me to worry about what everyone else wants, you can destroy me. And you see, that's what bad friends will do for us, is they distract us and they take our minds elsewhere. And what we want is friends that do the opposite, that help us in life and take us back to life. But finally, Samson says to Delilah, and you hit it earlier, Cheyenne, that you cut my hair off, right? And she gets Samson to sleep on her knees. This is a dedicated lady. She gets Samson to sleep on her knees so that someone can slip up behind him and shave his hair off. And guess what? He wasn't able to fend off the Philistines. And for that, the Philistines captured him. Now, Samson was out of power at that time, right? Because not just that his hair was cut, but because he picked wrong friends. And there's no greater challenge that you and I, and whether we are this age or that age or whatever age, there's no greater challenge we have in life than to pick friends who are going to help us to serve God. But let me end with this idea too. God is able to use you to do great things. And you don't have the strength, physical strength of Samson, do you? You showing Sam? I didn't think so. I know you're not. But we aren't as strong as Samson, right? But let me tell you something about Samson. At one point, he was in trouble with the Philistines, and he ran away to the Israelites, and the Israelites sent 3,000 men to get him. And said, Samson, listen, you caused problems. Don't you know the Philistines are our masters? That's the problem. They didn't have God as their master, and that's what got them there. Don't you know the Philistines are our master, and you've made them upset? So we want to tie you up. We want to take you to the Philistines. He said, you promise me you won't kill me? They said, yeah, we won't kill you. So they tie him up, and they take him to the Philistines. And we know tying Samson up can't people down, right? But do you know how many Philistines were there? 1,000 Philistines. Look back here a second. Do you get more people than we have here this morning? 1,000? That's way more, huh? Way more than that. We couldn't even fit 1,000 in there. What did Sampson use to beat those Philistines? There's a couple more than 5 here. Good point. Okay. So do you remember what Sampson used? Go ahead, turn around again. No? He used strength. What else? Is that what you were going to say? A donkey's jawbone. Yeah, I did. You know what that looks like? That's what that looks like. Now, today, I bleached it, by the way, guys. I can feel the tension here. Would you rather have that or a gun if your life was in threat? Gun would be much more powerful. You know what? There are soldiers today that have automatic weapons and they can take on 20 people. That's pretty amazing, right? Samson picked up this, This is by full disclosure, of course, not donkey. Picks something up like this and takes on by himself 1,000 people. 1,000 warriors. 1,000 men. You know what that means to me? We have God on our side. We don't need a whole lot, do we? We don't have to have all these weapons. We don't have to have all the things of the world. Something we just find laying around on the ground. Not most places, but apparently where Sampson was at my house. You can find something like this. Now, here's what I'm going to tell you. This isn't real impressive looking. And this isn't real impressive looking either. But we have God on our side because Samson's strength came from God. Not his hair, came from God. When we have God on our side, a simple jawbone will conquer an army. And a simple book will conquer a world if we dedicate ourselves to it. You've got to talk to your mom or dad first, and then you can feel it. I need a signed release form. And you're welcome to do it. Okay? You can pick it up, but there's no hitting anyone with it because that would be something different than what the Bible says we ought to do, right? It was okay for Samson, but not us. All right, what did we learn today, guys? What's the number one thing we learned about Samson? Pick a good friend. Right? And be nice, not mischievous, huh? Yeah. We learned about God, the power comes from God, right? Be nice, I heard you, Caitlin. To trust in God, to use His power, not our own, right? Man, I'll tell you what, they do a better job with presenting those things than I do. But those messages, I hope, are illustrated in a way that they understand it, but it's valuable for every one of us. And this morning, if you find yourself in a position where you're relying on everything other than the strength of God to conquer the enemies in your life, He has given us power. We don't even have to get our hands dirty with the jawbone of a donkey. He's given us power by believing in Him, by confessing Jesus before men, by repenting of our sins, being immersed for the remission of our sins, and living a life that's dedicated to Him, to have access to the power that's able to conquer this world. If you're subject to that gospel call this morning, please come forward with us together and stand and sing.